So I came across this social experiment online, and it is just brilliant in its simplicity. It really shows how easily our brains can be tricked once someone earns our trust. And believe it or not, it all starts with a simple game about flags.
So let me ask you, think you know your flags? I mean, if some guy on the street offered you $1 to name one, you'd feel pretty confident you could do it, wouldn't you? Well, that confidence, that's exactly what this whole experiment is built on.
All right, let's set the stage here. The premise itself could not be more straightforward. You've got a man approaching people on the street with what seems like a really simple challenge.
The deal is crystal clear. Identify the country's flag, you win $1. It's framed as this super low stakes, easy to win game. No hidden rules, no complicated instructions, or so it seems. Now, this is the really crucial part. The game isn't actually about flag knowledge at first. Nope, it's about psychology. The experimenter's first move is all about building a solid foundation of trust. Here's how he does it. He starts with a real, super recognizable flag. In this case, it's the flag of France. The participant, of course, gets it right instantly, $1 changes hands, and just like that, a pattern is established. The participant now thinks, okay, this game is fair, and this guy is trustworthy. And you can literally hear how well this technique is working in the participant's own words. He's confident, he's totally relaxed, he's sure he understands the rules, and that the game is exactly what it looks like. The hook is officially set. Because once that trust is locked in, the entire game is about to change. It's time for the twist. The experimenter pulls out a second flag. Now, it looks plausible, right? It looks like it could be a real country's flag. But here's the thing, it isn't. It's completely fake. The question is now impossible to answer correctly because the very premise is a lie. So, what happens when you ask someone an impossible question that they believe has a simple answer? Well, you get a total cascade of confusion. The participant's brain just goes into overdrive, trying to solve a puzzle that has no solution. The first guess is quick, almost a reflex. It kind of looks like Japan's flag, but it's not. The participant knows he's wrong almost immediately, but he's still operating under that key assumption. A right answer has to exist. So next he pivots. Maybe Switzerland? No, not that either. You can almost see the mental Rolodex of flags just spinning in his head, desperately searching for a match that just isn't there. And right here, you can just see the moment that desperation kicks in. He's so committed to finding an answer that he starts guessing organizations. This is where the humor and the psychology of the whole thing really intersect. This one is probably my favorite guess. It's so creative, it's funny, and it perfectly captures the mental gymnastics he's doing. He's trying to make this impossible reality fit his initial belief that this is a fair game with a real answer. And to make matters even worse, this is all happening out in public, which just adds this whole other layer of social pressure. Now he's not just trying to win $1, he's trying to avoid looking silly in front of a growing crowd. Okay, so we've seen the whole experiment play out, but why is it so incredibly effective? Let's break down the psychology that makes this simple street game such a fascinating look into human behavior. It all comes down to the gap between his expectation and the actual reality of the situation. The participant's brain is just locked into the pattern from that first easy flag, so he automatically assumes the problem is with his own knowledge, not with the question itself. Finally, he just surrenders, and here it is, the punchline, the big reveal. When the experimenter says it's not a real flag, you can almost feel the participant's entire understanding of the problem just shatter and then click back into place. So, what are the big takeaways here? First, it's the power of framing. The question itself assumes a correct answer exists. Second, it's how trust, built with that easy first win, was used as a tool of deception. And finally, it shows how fragile our sense of common knowledge is. We would rather invent totally wild guesses than admit we don't know something we feel like we're supposed to know. And that kind of leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? This was just a harmless game on the street, but it brilliantly shows how a trusted premise can lead us down a completely wrong path. It really makes you wonder, what other obvious truths, framed by people we trust, do we accept every single day without ever stopping to question if the flag is even real?